Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this little girl's dress. So I'm going to start it with a pattern paper. So all I have to do is this is for someone, so I decided to make a very quick video on how you can achieve this particular dress. So the first thing you're going to do is, I have my pattern paper here. For the back panel, which has about 1.5 for the zip allowance, and then the front panel. The front panel is the basic that we're using here. The width here is just her chest measurement divided by 4 plus extra 1 inch. So this is for a 4-year-old. The chest, and she's quite small, so her chest measurement is about 20.5. So divided by 4 plus 1 inch is what I have here. So that's about 6.5 is the width I have here. And then all I have to do now is to insert her shoulder measurement. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw the basic bodice. So her shoulder measurement is 9.5 divided by 2 is going to be about 4.75. I'm going to mark that here, and then I'm going to come down here, insert the armhole. I can separate the two. Since the paper is moving, I can just separate it and mark everything on the front panel before tracing it on the back panel. So I can come down here by half an inch for the shoulder slope, and then check the armhole. Her armhole is 7. So 7 divided by 2 is going to give me 3.5. I'm going to mark that here. So this is her armhole. I'm going to mark all the way down here. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and give it a curve this way for the armhole curve. And then the next thing I have to do is to go ahead here and insert her neckline. I'm going to be using 2 inches of neckline. You can do 2.5 depending on you. And then I'm going to insert her neckline. I'm going to use about 3 inches for the depth here. So I'm going to just connect it this way for her neckline, just like that. So this is going to be her neckline. This particular pattern is going to be cut on a fold. This pattern here is going to be on a fold. Then for her waist, I'm going to insert her waist measurement, which is 20 divided by 4 is 5 plus 2 inches of 1 inch of darting and 1 inch of seam allowance. That's exactly the width of this, so I don't have to cut it at all. So but before that, you also have to insert your nipple to nipple measurement. For her is 6 divided by 2 is 3. I'm going to mark that here. This is for her dart, so I'm going to just give it about that of 3 inches here, and then just mark half an inch on each side like this, and then connect it. Just draw out her basic bodies just like you would draw an adult, just with her own personal measurement and amount of alteration. And then from there, you're going to connect the shoulder slope to that half an inch that you came down here. Normally for adults, you use 1 inch shoulder slope, but for this 4-year-old, I'm going to just make it half an inch shoulder slope. So that's basically it for my pattern. At this point now, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out, but I'm going to place it back on the back panel, right? But for the back neckline, I'm going to just make it 1 inch of neck depth. Instead of 3 inches, I'm just going to make it 1 inch. So this is going to be the back neckline. What I'm going to just cut now is this neckline here, cut it out, cut down this shoulder slope, cut the armhole, and then that's basically what I'm cutting here, and then separate it before I cut out my front neckline. So guys, this same dart that I have here, I'm just going to notch it so that I can be able to transfer it at the back. So I'm going to notch this part where this dart is for both the front and the back, but the one at the back, I'm going to extend it by 4 inches. Remember, the one in front is like 3 inches. The one at the back, I'm going to make it like 4 inches long. So that's basically it for my pattern. The next thing is to separate it so you can figure out where you want the color at the top to stop and the color at the bottom to stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4.5, right? Because remember, the pattern I have here is her shoulder to waist is 8 inches, but I added 1 inch here because I need half an inch to join the shoulder and half an inch to join the bottom part. That's for the full length of this bodice. But since we are going to be splitting it into 2, I'm going to make it 4.5. So halfway through this is where I'm going to cut it. Remember, like I said, it's 9 inches here. So I'm going to just separate it at 4.5 inches straight across. So guys, you can make yours higher than this, you can bring yours lower. It depends on how you want yours to be, but I just want mine to be at the center. Half bodice is this color. Like you can see, I'm using this one and this one here. So it depends on you how you want to cut yours, but once you get your pattern ready, then you can decide how you want to split it. So now that I've marked this here, I'm just going to take my scissors. As you can see, I'm cutting both the back and the front. I'm cutting everything. So I'm going to split it into two. Now that I've split it into two, I'm just going to cut the pattern for this one here on this color on a fold. Each of them will be on a fold, two back piece and then one front piece that is on a fold on this one, and then the bottom part is going to be on this one. So I'm going to trace out mine and then we'll come back and cut our sleeve. See, this is it here, and there's half an inch of seam allowance at the bottom part for each of them. This is my back panel. So once I join this seam allowance together, I'm going to have it completely. So you see, this is this side here, this is the top part of it, and then you see my center pattern is cut on a fold. You see, this is a fold, this is also a fold at the bottom. So this is it here, this is this one here. So I have half an inch between them to attach it, but I didn't add any other seam allowance any other place. The only seam allowance I added is just below this because I already attached the 1 inch that I need to join the shoulder and the bottom. So there is no other seam allowance I need. The only one I need is just to join this because every other seam allowance I need is already added to the pattern paper. So now the next thing, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to go to the sewing machine and join it. But before then, let's cut the bottom of our dress. So the bottom of this dress, her shoulder to waist is 8. The length of the dress is 22. So if I subtract that 8 from the 22, so that means the flay is going to be 14 inches, right? So I need 14 inches to be the flay, but her waist measurement is 20. So what you're going to do is the waist measurement you're working with, divide it by 3.14, right? So for me, I got about 6.5 or so. So 6.5 is what I got. So as you can see, I also folded my fabric into two. I'm not cutting a full circle, I'm cutting half a circle, right? But if you're cutting full circle, then that means your fabric is going to be divided. You're going to fold your fabric into 4, and you're going to divide by so guys, like I was saying, if you're trying to cut it by 4, then your fabric will be folded into 4 places like this. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4 is into 4, and then you're going to divide it by 6.28, and you're going to insert the measurement here. But since I'm doing just one fold here, so I'm going to divide by 3.14, which is half of the 6.28 that I said before. So now I'm going to just go ahead and mark. I'm going to add 1 inch to this 6.5 and make it 7.5, because remember I still have to work with my zip, and I want to add 1 pleat just by the dart in front, because if you look at this, you will notice it's a circle that is somehow pleated. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. So I'm going to use 7.5, and I'm going to place my tape here and move it around till I mark 7.5 all over. So guys, as you can see, I've marked the first line, and then I added the length that I want mine to be, which is 14 inches plus the seam allowance, and then that was the next line I made from that top part here, and then I marked it. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So guys, I've cut it out now. This is my skirt part here. If you want, you can line yours. If you want, you can just add 1 inch to fold the edge. So this is what I'm working with here. So at this point now, I'm going to go ahead and cut the sleeve. So guys, this is what I'm using for my sleeve. The fabric is folded into 2, and then I folded it again into 4, right? So this is going to be a puffy sleeve, but it's somehow exaggerated puffy sleeve, which I already have a video on how to make it in my channel, sorry, but this time around I'm making it for a child. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here by about 3 inches. For the total length I have here is just her sleeve length plus 6 inches, right? Her sleeve length is 7, and then plus extra 6 inches, so it's about 13 or so. So what I'm going to do is just come down here and mark 3 inches. This 3 inches or 2.5 is going to be my puffy sleeve part, and then I added, so let me just do about 2 inches is okay, or 2.5 is what I'm using. And then you're going to come in here by about 4 inches, because this is going to be exaggerated sleeve. So do 4 inches. And then the next thing I'm going to add here, this part here is where all my measurements will fit in now. I've added what I need for the exaggerated part, and then for the length I'm going to come down 2.5 like I said, and mark it in a straight line all the way to the end. And then now you're going to insert your cap height, which for me is about the same 2.5 is what I'm going to use. After that, I'm going to mark where my sleeve will end, which is going to be this 7 inches. So this part here is what my sleeve is. The rest are just extra that I added to help the sleeve look puffy. So on this same line now, you're going to make sure you insert the armhole you're working with. So let's say I need about 5 inches for my armhole here. So guys, this particular top space here is just for my puffy sleeve, because remember, your puffy sleeve, when you're making it, you need to give room for it. And then this second line is just my cap height, right? So on this line here, you're going to insert the armhole. So I'm going to just mark about 5 inches here, and then I'm going to connect it. Just their armhole divided by 2 is what you're supposed to use. Connect this line to this point like this, and then you're going to draw in your basic sleeve. Half of the line, I have 6 here, half of 6 is 3. I'm going to give it a curve below and then a curve above. So I've drawn in my normal basic sleeve here now. So all I have to do is just to keep this line straight all the way to the end. Just like this, keep it straight all the way to the end. So this extra that I have here is because when you're making a puffy sleeve, remember I still need about 1.5 inch for the casing of this elastic, and then you need to add some room like 2 inches just in case, just so that you can be able to push the sleeve up so that you can get that puffiness, right? So that's the extra that I have here. About 2 inches for my casing, and then maybe like extra 2 inches just because of you need to pull her sleeve, because when you're wearing a puffy sleeve, you don't straighten it like this, you still drag up the elastic a little bit just to give you room. So that's why there's extra here. So now all I have to do is to cut from this edge down to this point. But to add my puffy sleeve, remember that halfway through that straight line that we marked here, which was 3 inches, I'm going to connect from this top to this part here. So that way all this part now are part of my puffy sleeve. So this whole thing now is part of my puffy sleeve, and then down to this point. So guys, this is my sleeve. The first thing I'm going to do is just to fold it and make my casing for elastic, and then I'm going to gather this top part here and then insert it into my sleeve, and then join this whole part together, because this is going to be my armhole. So this whole part here is going to fit into this here, and then I'm going to have my sleeve here. So just like that, I'm going to join the bottom. And guys, if you want to use lining for this, all you have to do is just to place back your, maybe before or even before you cut this pattern paper into 2, leave it this way and trace out exactly this pattern for your lining if you want to use lining, or if you want, you can just use bias for the neckline. But since this is a child and I don't want this part where I'm going to join it together to be itching her, so I'm going to just use lining to cover it up instead of using bias. So I'm going to join everything together now and show you guys. Here I've coupled everything together. So basically you join the top and the bottom, you use bias or you use lining, it depends on you. As you can see, I use this same fabric for the inside of the cloth. I just used it to turn it around and join the sleeve to it. You see, it's a puffy sleeve. Like I said, you're not going to wear it to the full length because it will be too long. You're supposed to, once you wear it on the child, you pull it up a little, so it's supposed to look something like this. This is how it's going to look. So it shortens the length a little, and then I decided to add belt to her own so it can be adjustable. So that's basically how I made this here. This is the back of the dress. This is the back here. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.